4 suspects on trial accused of plotting to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer lit up with excitement watching videos of explosives. That's according to testimony revealed today. Now wrapping up day 11 of the trial, the arguments center around whether or not the suspects were all talk. News Channel 3's Mike Kravesick joins us live in Grand Rapids to tell us what recordings revealed today in court. Mike.
Yeah, Erica, the undercover FBI agent on the stand today here says he showed a video to the suspects of an SUV blowing up. A voice is heard in the recording saying, quote, "You'll have to let your boys know in Michigan." Well, it turns out the FBI made that video, and the agent testifying here today says he was brought in to make sure the suspects didn't get any real explosives. FBI Special Agent Timothy Bates says informants brought him into the alleged kidnapping plot in September 2020. Prosecutors say the suspects wanted to pull the plot off before the November election. Hours after he met the suspects now in trial in federal court, Bates says he joined them on a nighttime surveillance mission, scoping out the governor's cottage in northern Michigan. Bates, known as Red while undercover, or a secret wire. Recording conversations the prosecutors played for the jury today. Recordings capture Barry Croft talking about using napalm, military-grade, highly flammable substance, to burn the governor's cottage.
Well, we couldn't hear half of what was being said because they picked the wire that had bad audio.
What does that suggest to you?
It'll be for the jury to decide.
Prosecutors also allege Adam Fox can be heard suggesting they blow up 2 bridges to slow police response time during the kidnapping. Bates testifying Fox asked for an IOU on the $4,000 of explosives he put in. Prosecutors say he agreed to pool the money together from the other suspects to complete the sale.
That'll be for the jury to decide. I don't think I saw any money change hands.
Prosecutors say the men thought they were on their way to buy the explosives when the FBI arrested 3 of the 4 men on trial during an October 2020 sting operation. Today, another FBI agent who questioned Daniel Harris the night of his arrest testifies that Harris told him, quote, undercover agent Dan Chappell served as a, quote, middle ground to keep everyone's head on straight. Is there still a legitimate entrapment defense?
I think there's a very legitimate defense.
Defense attorneys have been arguing that more than a dozen FBI informants and agents working on the case steered the suspects to the plot. And today, federal prosecutors saying they're getting closer to their closing statements expected to happen tomorrow. But the one lingering question, will former FBI informant Steve Robeson take the stand? Defense attorneys want him to, but prosecutors say he's a double agent who would incriminate himself on the witness stand. A decision is expected from the judge on Wednesday.
3's Mike Kravesick joins us live outside of federal court in Grand Rapids to tell us what the messages shown to jurors said today. Mike.
Yeah, Hannah, Erica, defense attorneys say that these social media posts shown in court today were jokes, including a meme of a loaded magazine rifle with the caption, 30 votes that count. Which governor is going to end up being dragged off and hung for treason first? Prosecutors say Barry Croft wrote that Facebook post in May 2020, about 2 months after Governor Whitmer issued a stay-at-home order. The prosecution claims COVID-19 restrictions fueled the 4 suspects' anger and the alleged plot.
So far, I haven't heard that he was part of any agreement to kidnap.
Defense attorneys continue to argue that plot was all talk. FBI agents testifying today. 12 different agents watched the suspects train in Luther, Michigan, with members of the militia group, the Wolverine Watchmen. Hours later, the FBI says the 4 suspects on trial scoped out the governor's cottage. One of the defense attorneys planned to call Wolverine Watchmen member Max Wyckoff to testify. Now it appears the defense is losing him as a witness.
I can't talk about that.
Are you promised any deal or anything?
I can't talk about that.
Wyckoff's attorney says he won't take the stand.
He's asserted his Fifth Amendment rights. He's not saying anything that could potentially incriminate him.
Prosecutors say they plan to call 3 witnesses tomorrow, including Barry Croft's girlfriend, as the prosecution prepares to rest its case.
You know, we expected that some people would invoke. It's interesting. You heard what happened in the courtroom. I guess the government sometimes tells people informally they don't have anything to worry about when they want the witness.
FBI agents here today testifying they found weapons in every one of the 4 suspects' homes, including thousands of rounds of ammo in Brandon Concerta's apartment, including books that talked about anti-government views. His attorney wondering why the FBI had to bring that up here in court today. Day 13 of the trial will take place tomorrow. As I said, three more witnesses will be called by the prosecution here in federal court.
Tonight, a West Michigan man is at the Ukrainian border waiting for guns and ammunition to go into the war zone.
And tonight, he is grappling with the thought of heading to the front lines. News Channel 3's Allie Jenner-John joins us live in studio to tell us where he is now. Allie.
Yeah, guys, I first talked to Jeff Anderson about 2 weeks ago on his plans to go to Ukraine. Now the wrestling coach at Grand Valley State University is in Poland, ready to head to Ukraine in a moment's notice and fight. He tells me his plans to join the war are now on pause while Ukraine works to get more weapons to arm the thousands of volunteers joining the fight against Russia. West Michigan man Jeff Anderson says images on your screen like this don't do justice to the horror happening in Ukraine. Ukrainian officials say more than 3,000 Americans have applied to join the fight against Russia. Anderson, a wrestling coach at GVSU, is one of them. He packed his bags, traveled to Poland, and is now ready to walk into the war zone that millions are fleeing.
There's a pretty good list of people, which to me is inspirational that so many people came, Americans, a lot of Americans, of course, many other countries.
So many volunteers that the new International Legion to Defend Ukraine has put them on standby.
They said, hey, look, we got your information, we got everything here. How long can you stay? I said, well, I'll stay a couple of weeks and see what happens, and I can always come back.
He says officials at the Ukrainian embassy told him to hang tight while they try to get enough guns and ammunition to give to each volunteer and to be ready to fight from the front lines if he's called to duty.
I struggled this for about a month. It was back and forth, and I had a lot of, looking in the mirror moments, right? And a lot of praying and a lot of thinking.
While Anderson waits, he's thinking ahead, trying to figure out how he can help right now. He says he's starting a nonprofit to help come up with helmets and vests for troops.
We're going to keep fighting. Okay, we got to do it from a distance. We can do that too. We'll keep going.
Anderson tells me he's meeting with military personnel on Thursday to try to figure out how to get those items into Ukraine. His girlfriend is from the country and she's made it safely to Poland, just as he's waiting for the order to go into Ukraine.